You caught me taking off my glasses. Hey, it's Molly. I can't see you, but I just know you're somewhere over there. A couple things of housekeeping, and then it's going to be a little bit of a dark subject today, so I don't know that this is going to stay on my channel for very long. We'll see how it goes. I still don't know how to edit, so it's all going to be in one take, and if I screw up, you're there to witness it. And then I figure I'll tell you about my very first radio call ever from LAPD. We'll get to that. So housekeeping, I'm going to be on Stephanie McPhail's podcast. She is a toxic relationship expert out of New York, and somehow she thinks that I might know a little thing or two about toxic relationships. So that's going to be cool. And then I have something coming up that I'm very excited about on Rumble, but I will be broadcasting it here on YouTube with somebody very dear to me who's having a lot of technical difficulties. So that's what we've been waiting on. So I just figured I would jump on here today and talk to myself for a few minutes and make you watch it. Or not. So today I want to talk about camaraderie and brotherhood, because it's September, and that is, I don't even know if I'm allowed to use the word on YouTube, but Suzy-side, emergency exit from life. I have had my fair share of people take the emergency exit, and I think it's a little bit different with first responders. I think that there's that feeling that you have to be everybody's hero, and yet there's nobody there for you because you're the problem solver. So I think it's a lot harder for us to call and ask other people for help. Although I am very self-deprecating, I am that person that will have 43 boxes in my hand and something hanging out of my teeth while I open the door. My friends do yell at me at it for a lot, but last weekend I went to a Walk for Red, is the name of the charity, from Joe Warne, and he's got this great charity that he gives to firefighters with cancer and unfortunately surviving families. And I've got two guys at my department that currently have cancer. And so they were walking, and it was just an automatic. I'm gonna walk. Yes, Saturday morning. I agree that people have things to do. I have things to do. If I turn my camera, you'd be like, oh my God, girl, get to your chores. But that's not the point. The point is brotherhood. The point is that these guys are walking, and like, they're not gonna walk alone. What I was shocked was that I was the only coworker there. And I just feel like with LAPD, that would have never happened. Maybe because we're beat dogs, that we are closer to each other. I mean, I've sat in the car for 12 hours with people I wouldn't invite to my funeral, but I think if they needed it, I would just automatically be there. Maybe I don't even know their first name. Are they married? Do they have kids? I don't know. We got work to do. But the camaraderie there was so much closer than I see now. And it's really kind of sad. But we walked, and afterwards, one of the guys dropped me off. This is a great guy who, I mean, I would just do anything for. Good family man, just heart of gold. And he was telling me he had a recent surgery, and one of the shifts cooked him dinner from scratch, and I guess it lasted like a week. And he was like going off for like 5 minutes about these cookies. And they made them from scratch. And they didn't have to do that. They could have gone to the grocery store, but they didn't. They made these cookies for me. And he starts tearing up. I start tearing up. Just listening to this, like, now I'm thinking about it. Just thinking about him and these fucking cookies. And how that meant so much to him. And I feel like it really is a time to just start thinking about that kind of stuff. Like, a lot of us give to these like multi-billion-dollar charities, and then after it trickles from CEOs and you pay for a commercial and a few billboards and like some money trickles down. Joe Warne is a lot different. He gives directly to the firefighters from the fund. And then also just giving straight to bake some cookies for somebody that you know needs it. It changed his outlook. He's had a pretty rough time of it, and for something like stupid cookies to affect him so much, affected me so much. I didn't even bake the cookies. So maybe just look around at your own little biosphere and like who you can help now, like, because we're all struggling. I mean, right now, politically, socially, morally, like, we're all beat dogs right now. Life isn't so great. And hopefully an election could change that. We won't get into the foil hat stuff, but if you know me, you know that I am rooting for all of us as a species, as a society, and there isn't anything that I wouldn't do to help a fellow man, whether it's getting a blister on a Saturday or whatever. So I'd say with this Prevention Awareness Month, look around at the people immediate to you and don't just think about long distance people. Because there's a lot of people that feel loneliness and feel, especially with first responders, that their work isn't being appreciated right now. Maybe they're being defunded, and maybe they're being told that, okay, listen, the rule has changed, the law has changed, now we're not even going to arrest people, or that super bad guy that you know is going to do something's just going to be let out today. And there's a lot of like, what is it all worth feeling in all of us? And whether that's you work at a grocery store, or you're a cop, or a firefighter, or whatever it is that you do, we're all kind of going through stuff right now. So can we all just give each other a fucking break? The people that I know that have gone through stuff and taken that emergency exit were people that they weren't self-deprecating. And they, with that is like all this weight that they have to pretend to be somebody that they aren't. Whereas I'm like the first person that walks in a room and goes, I'm fat and stupid. And people go, you shouldn't say that about yourself because yourself is listening. No, I really am. But I think my confidence is a little bit skewed because I don't really care what I say. But anyway, boy, do I wish I could edit. I can't. So you just have to hear that. But they were both going through something, and I feel like they didn't have anybody that they could be that vulnerable with. Or they just felt like they didn't know how to be vulnerable. And it's so freaking sad because both of them were really great people that I admired and were doing bigger and better things than I was, and I would gladly trade them. Their problems didn't seem anything insurmountable to me. I would totally trade their problems for mine. And yet to them it was everything. And so I would say, if you're going through something like that, fuck it. Nobody says that you have to be the same person today, tomorrow, the next day that you were yesterday. Who cares? Shave your head. Move to another country. Quit your job. You'll figure it out. If what you're doing or who you are isn't working for you, and you're at the point of thinking about that emergency exit, hell no. Those problems aren't something that you have to take with you tomorrow. And I'm not saying I loved my job with LAPD. Greatest job I've ever had in my whole life. But there were other factors in Los Angeles that I was just like, I can't even stay in this state. It's a sinking ship. It still is. It's sunk further since I left. For all my friends in California, I freaking love you. I have a guest room. Please get out. Get some help. So I left. I changed my whole situation. Yeah, there was some stress involved. I didn't know anybody here. I had a lot of work to do. How do you make friends as an adult? That was weird because I'm always that person that's like at the grocery store like, oh, those are pretty good cookies. You better watch them. They might be end up in my cart. And people are like, you're weird. And I'm like, okay, fine. I don't care. Whatever. But I did a lot of things to make friends while I was here. I invented a game. I hosted for free all over the place. I designed crazy roller skates. Then I realized that all my friends were 20. So I've joined so many clubs and I've done a lot to make friends. It is effort. But I also changed that daily living in a war zone thing that I was just like, this sucks. Like every day sucks. The only thing I want to do is just go to work. And I can't be here all day, every day. So I got to figure something out. And I'm not saying that I was even remotely at a point of depression, but just I didn't like where I was, and so I reinvented myself. And I've reinvented myself many times over my lifetime. And like my drag queen friends used to say, girl, it's not that serious. So reinvent yourself. Reach out to somebody. It's okay to be vulnerable. Dude, we're all vulnerable right now. Have you seen grocery prices and crime and unreported crime and just like the general staticky, sort of shitty way that everybody's sort of treating each other right now, especially leading up to this election? People are jerks. So this is a really great video. Anyway, if you need help, it's okay to ask for it. And if that person can't help you, it's just like with therapists. I always tell my clients, like, if I don't gel with you, no harm, no foul. Find somebody you gel with. Find somebody that's like sees you, that listens to you, that understands you in a way that somebody who's just like sitting there, like taking notes. And how did that make you feel? Not everybody's gonna get you. Not everybody can help you. Some people are embroiled in their own bullshit, and forgive them. Move on to somebody that can help you. Move on to strangers on the internet. Reach out to me. There's a lot of help out there. And if somebody's reaching out to you and it's beyond your pay grade, it's totally okay to rat on them and get them some intervention, get them some help that they need, even if they feel like they don't need it. You see those horrible videos of people, on the bridge, and it just takes talking about football or whatever to get them to just want to live another hour and to put their feet back up over. You just don't know what's going to help somebody out. It could be stupid cookies. So, I love you guys. Oh yeah, I promised to talk about my first... if I knew how to edit, I would put a picture from the weekend in there with the two guys from work. I don't know how to edit. If I do know how to edit, there it is. See it? I don't know if that worked or not. If I can figure out how to do that, I'll put a picture from the weekend in. But it was a good time. So my first radio call ever. I'm working at LAPD. I'm with my training officer, but of course we get out of the car and it's my job to talk to everybody. This woman calls 911. She needs the police and she needs them now. So we get over there. It's a very affluent neighborhood. We meet her in her driveway. She is upset. Her car is parked on the public street, and somebody has the audacity of parking behind her. She lets me know if she wanted to get to her trunk, which she does not, but if she did want to, she would probably have to pull her car up to get to her trunk. And that's so inconsiderate. Can you please tell me who owns this car? No, I'm sure you're not a serial killer, but you never know. And we don't just give out people's information. Besides, they're legally parked, you're legally parked, there's no crime. How can we help you? Well, can you just knock on their door and tell them that that was really inconsiderate of them? Okay, hold up, just let's dial it back a little bit. This is your giant 3-story house? Yeah. And more money than I'll ever have in my life, but whatever. And it came with this, what do you call that, a driveway? Yeah, I wish I had one of those, shit. So you could maybe park your car in the driveway? No? Well, if my boyfriend wants to go to the gym, then I have to move my car. And I really just had to take a breath because my living situation was a lot different. It would take me 2.5 hours to park my car. Sometimes I would valet it at a nightclub and just go back for it at 2 o'clock in the morning and then follow drunks to their car and take their spot. So we were living a little bit different realities. I would never call 911 for something like that. There's a lot of things that I have not called 911 for. This is like a problem that we have in America right now. We're getting so used to real crime that we don't call for real things. But this lady, she was at her breaking point with this car, so I was going to help her out. Okay, let's say I run this car and they live, a couple houses away, a couple blocks away, whatever. And I knock on their door and I tell them, the lady that you're parked behind is upset that you're parked too close. Do you think, given their level of considerability, is that even a word? I don't know. do you think that you're going to come back to a handwritten apology on your windshield, maybe some movie tickets, car wash coupons? Or do you think that your car is going to be keyed from end to end? Because I feel like we're living in totally different realities, you and I, because I would never confront somebody about parking 6 inches from my bumper. But I think it goes along with this conversation about the emergency exit, because you just never know what people's breaking point is. And I know that everybody's sort of complaining about everything, but you just don't know if that's that one thing that they're like, no, you don't understand. This is a 911 emergency. And you're like, it is? So maybe just give each other a freaking break. That's all I'm saying. That was her worst day ever. And how envious I am of that. I wish that that would be my worst day ever. But we were able to help her out and make her feel okay. And give her some tips for the future. Make her boyfriend park on the street, duh. But at any rate, I'm sorry that this was sort of a low vibration video, but I think that it needs to be said because we're like living in this super low vibration area, and like life is shit. Let's just laugh about it. It's not that serious. We're gonna get through it. So I'm excited to tell you about the next things that are coming up, but there's the 2 podcasts coming up. And then, like, what do you want to hear about? I could talk to the wall for the rest of my life. You could lock me in a coffin and I would talk to myself. Just give me some pizza. So, like, but what do you want to know? Do you have questions about relationships? Do you have questions about cops? Like, what do you want to know? I was going to say something dirty, but I think I've already, like, hit my limit of curse words for YouTube for today. So, love you guys, and hope to see you soon.